right, shall we get into this?
Let's do it.
All right. So, season 2, episode 21 was called Changes.
Changes. I can't sing it.
I don't know. That's the only thing. That's the only words I know.
Changes. That was just playing in my head. Changes. That's exactly how it goes.
Those are the exact lyrics. So the show starts out with Dawson trying to figure out what to do for his final assignment of the year, I guess. Is that right? Like that's what he makes it sound like, right? Like this is
his like film final.
Film final. And I guess the topic or the thing that he has to try and do is find a part, or like what? Like he ends up like trying to seek out this assignment from somebody else. Like he wants to like interview somebody else. And I think the original assignment was for him to do it on himself, and like how he's changed or had a character change or a life change or something. But he gets all like nervous about putting himself in front of the camera. He's the man behind the camera, not in front of it.
This is the episode that I didn't even have many notes for. I'm like, Dawson's a psychopath. Andy's dad sucks, but like I kind of get what he's saying. Andy's having like a total break. Like those are my 3 notes.
Well, this is also the episode where like Andy. Oh, did you say Andy has a break?
Yeah,
like a mental break. Okay, right. Because this is also that. So that's Dawson's whole like trial and tribulations throughout this episode, and it's dumb. Like he ends up like trying to interview Joey's dad, and Joey like freaks out. But then it was the episode before where Andy had her mental breakdown, right? Where she was like throwing shit and breaking mirrors.
Yeah, and she was seeing her dead
brother, right? And so now,
who I thought was Adam Carolla at first.
Adam Carolla playing Andy's dead brother. No, so it's Andy and Jack's dad who comes back to take Andy away because apparently there's no good health system in Cape Side, or not one that can handle the mental breakdown that Andy's suffering.
Apparently they have no institutions in Cape Side. There's a school. It's like a lawless wasteland at Cape Side.
Yeah. There's a school, there's an ice house for people to eat.
We don't know that there's a hospital, but we saw an ambulance, so that probably means there's a hospital.
Oh yeah, when
Abby died,
Abby died, an ambulance did show up to deal with that situation. So there is some kind of infrastructure,
right?
But we don't know how far that ambulance came. I mean, she drowned in like 3 feet of water, so maybe they had to come from the next town.
Yeah, and who knows what they did with the body afterwards? Just like held onto it in the ambulance and then buried it.
They dumped it in the ocean on the way back. They're like, "There's nothing we could do. Fuck this."
She gone. Gone.
Wait. So what were we talking about?
Oh, Dawson's film project.
Well, Dawson's film project, and Andy and Jack's dad is back in town. Dad is there to take Andy away, and let's talk about their father real quick, because their dad tries to convince Jack that he should go back home too. Like, where are they from? Rhode Island? Is that what he said? Providence?
Providence, yeah.
Yeah.
To take them back to the big city, Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And Jack doesn't want to go because, like, his dad still has an issue with him being gay, and he says that Jack being gay is as simple as just having a problem that can be cured. That he has gay ideas. He's not actually gay. It's just ideas floating through his head right now because he's a teenager.
Yeah, his dad wants to take like his whole family back. Yeah,
cure
because
cure everybody.
the mother is like gone, and now his daughter is having a mental break, and his son has gay ideas. So he's got to take them back to Providence and get that fucking fixed.
I mean, it's quite interesting because we still don't see mom like being taken away either. It's all about Andy and her mental problems.
So did they leave mom? They took mom also.
We're just assuming they take mom because
we never see her. Like they didn't want to pay the actress for the like 10 seconds that she would be on screen. So they're like, we'll just gloss over that and hope nobody notices.
With no lines because she's probably like mute now at this point.
Yeah. They're just hoping that nobody in 20 years watches the show and picks it apart and notices that.
Yeah, they had no idea that like the internet would exist and Netflix would exist and Hulu and shit. And that we would exist and do a Google Hangout during a quarantine, during a fucking pandemic.
And that grown-ass women would get together on Google Hangouts during a pandemic to dissect the episodes of Dawson's Creek.
Holy shit.
No one could predict that.
No one could predict that. Certainly not Paula Cole.
Definitely not Paula Cole.
I mean, maybe she kind of did because she didn't want them using her song anymore for the the title.
She didn't license it for streaming services because she's like, I don't want to be associated with no pandemic. The fucking psychic told her that. She's like, that's crazy talk, but I believe you. Not going to sign that deal.
So Pacey and Andy have to go through like basically a breakup, and Pacey decides that he wants to have like one final like date night with Andy. And at this point, like leading into their date, at this point she's not sure if she's staying or going. She really says she wants to stay because of Pacey and she loves him, and but then at the same time she starts to have second thoughts and she's like, maybe I should go. Maybe I should go where I can get better help, and I don't want to drag Pacey down with my problems, so maybe I should just remove myself from this situation. And on their date, that's when she tells Pacey, I guess she just decides on her own that she's like, I think it'd be better for me if I just got out of here and tried to get better.
And Pacey is like very understanding. He's not selfish.
As usual, Pacey is like a grown-up.
But he does have a few meltdowns. He's like, I was nothing before this woman, and I don't know what I'm going to be without her.
That is true.
I was nothing without this woman. I'm fairly certain he referred to her as a woman.
Oh, yeah. They're like 16 or something.
I
17.
mean, she's had her period, so technically.
Yeah, she's had her period, and in some southern states, she was a woman at like 13.
Yeah, I mean, she's probably like legal marrying age. Wait, I can't remember. Did Pacey and Andy have sex? They did, didn't they? Like once or something?
I thought it was a psych out.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was a psych out. I thought they decided to wait.
Oh.
Yeah, because there was a whole episode about who's having sex.
Right.
And then we thought it was Pacey and Andy because they got that hotel room. But it was actually, was it anyone? Who fucked that night?
Yeah, somebody had sex that night, but I can't remember who it was.
Me either. Wow, these episodes really stick with us.
What episode?
As soon as we're recording this podcast, I like erase it from my memory.
Intentionally. And I
gotta make room for useful information.
I'm trying to like quickly look back through my notes to see if I can find out.
It was not them though, but I don't know if they boned after that at any point. Hey Melissa, what you got? A teddy bear or a monk up there
Where?
In the closet behind your head? What's that thing?
Oh yeah, that's a monk. It's Murphy's. It's a little toy.
What's a monk?
A monkey.
A monkey.
Oh.
A monk, dude.
I get it.
Oh. He cute.
He's cute, right?
I know that monk. I've seen that monk. Why is he up there?
Well, this is where I have Murphy's like toys and stuff. So that way he just won't go crazy. Because if they're on the floor, he'll just pull them all out of that container thing. Just
that makes sense.
Strewn them all over the place if he had his way.
That's like right now with Ben too. Ben just like I got
these toys all over the apartment.
Yeah, I mean it's fucking everywhere. I feel like I'm constantly picking up after the dog. I'm being serious though.
Yeah, I know you are. Because I live with a man too. It's the same thing.
I'm like constantly cleaning. But I do kind of have him trained a little bit. Like that's a good thing with quarantine. If I look at him and I say sternly, Ben, pick up your stuff. And then he does it with his tail between his legs.
Wait, Cindy, are you and Ben going to move in after this? Because you're practically living together now.
Yeah.
We are living together. I don't know. Yet to be seen.
Have you talked about that? Has that come up yet?
No.
Okay. I was just thinking about that at some point. So I was like, oh, they're like moved in now. And then they'll have to like move out when this is over.
I know it's going to be weird. But I mean, we did live together briefly when I didn't have a home. When I was in between apartments.
That's true.
I think I remember.
That was even like more stressful because we were in his apartment together.
Yeah, you were in his studio apartment together.
Right. And now we have more space, which is like then 2 separate rooms.
Yeah, you have like that's a 2-bedroom apartment, right? That you're in?
Yeah. With like a proper living room.
Yeah.
You talking about that Airbnb you're in right now?
The Airbnb, yeah.
Oh,
It's a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. So yeah. A lot of cleanup when you have a dog.
Or a child, depending on how you look at it.
Right.
I can't find out who.
Anyway.
I can't find, looking through my notes, who actually had sex that episode.
I thought it was Andy and Pacey.
It definitely was not them that episode.
Oh.
Because they all get together in that room.
Well, wait, who
and
were
they
the
have
other
a big
couples?
argument about it.
Because then there was Jen and
that Thai guy?
That homophobe.
Yeah, the homophobe guy.
No, this was well before him. I thought it was the night that Jen climbed into Dawson's window and like because her grandfather died and she needed comfort. So like there was a debate whether it was like Andy and Pacey or Jen and Dawson or Joey and Jack. Those were the 3 couples.
Oh, yeah.
Those were the 3 couples, and they were trying to figure out who banged. And I thought it was Andy and Pacey because then they had a fight about it afterwards. Because he was like...
So then it wasn't the night of the hotel room. It was another night?
Because they had a fight about it afterwards, and he was like, oh, I think we should, like, slow things down. And she was, like, all offended, which I would be, too.
Yeah, I would be, too. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, we banged once, and now you don't want to do it anymore? What the fuck?
Oh, she did. I remember that. She did get upset because she kind of get upset also about the fact, like, that she thought that she was bad, and that's why he didn't want to do it again? Or like he wanted to wait to do it again or something? Like wasn't that part of her being...
So I think it was them. So they had
No,
sex
but I thought
once.
they never actually did, and that was a psych out. It was to make us think that they did when they actually didn't. And then they all got in the classroom and had like a big blowout about it. And it turns out it wasn't them after all.
No, I think we were led to believe that it was Dawson and Jen. And everybody was upset about it, especially Joey. But it was really Andy and Pacey. And then everyone was like, oh, okay, that's none of our business. We're not in a love triangle with those 2, so they can bang all they want. But then the 2 of them had a conflict about the fact that they had sex and like broke up for a minute or something. And then
Maybe you're right.
And then they got back together
know.
and they apparently never had sex again. So they've been dating for like 7 months and they had sex like once.
So basically what happened was Andy was finally ready to bone. Pacey was like starting to get scared. His D couldn't get hard enough, or like he lost it halfway through. And then he was like, whoa, we got to slow down. I don't know if I want to do this. And then she got upset.
All right.
Something like that.
We'll just say, yeah. I guess we'll just say that Dawson, who is it? Pacey and Andy have had sex once.
I think Pacey had like a really small peen, and that would explain why he's so like understanding and empathetic and selfless.
Like why he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
But you might be right. Although
he has to focus on other like characteristics that would make him likable.
Other ways to keep women around.
Yes.
I put a note in here. So going back to Dawson, I put a note in here that Dawson's issues are so petty compared to everyone else on the show. Like Joey and their dad moving on, or like trying to find like a good place in their life, and like Dawson's trying to ruin it by interviewing her dad, like just dredging up a whole bunch of old shit. And like Pacey and Andy are dealing with Andy's mental health issues. And all Dawson's worried about are his own insecurities. Those are the notes that I wrote down about Dawson in this episode. And then Jen. So Jen is still kicked out of Grams' house, right? And
yeah, she's living with what, Joey?
She's living with the Learys, with Gail.
No, didn't she move in with
No.
Jack?
So here's how it goes: is that Jen is currently living with Gail, Dawson's mom, and she, I don't know who convinces her to like maybe see if like, or if it's just an idea that she had all on her own about seeing if she can move back to New York to be with her mom or dad. So she calls her mom, and her mom's like, now's not really a good time, and dad is like, the last time you were here it was a shit show, like I don't think, like basically you're not welcome back into either of our houses. Sounds like her parents are divorced or not together. And so we like find her at the bus stop, and she's like waiting online to get on the bus, and Jack comes like running. He's like, what, are you gonna leave without saying goodbye? And Jen's all like so over dramatic about it, and she says something like, Jen is gonna leave with every place to go, but with no one there to go to. She says something like to that effect.
Yeah, she's like, it doesn't matter where I go because every place is like nothing.
Every place.
What is life? It doesn't matter. I'm getting on this bus.
Every place is no place to me. It doesn't matter where I go. And Jack's like, all right, calm down. Come live with me.
All right, everyone take it easy.
Mansion in the good part of Cape Side if you want to live with me. And she's like, okay.
Twist fine. My arm right now, yeah. No parents around, one crazy mom.
No, mom's gone.
Mom's gone.
Oh, right.
Jack's in that, like, well-appointed home by himself.
Completely alone.
16-year-old.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I think he's like 17. He's slightly older than the rest of the gang.
Yeah. I mean, so that's kind of how that. Oh well, I guess like the final scene of the episode 22 changes is Andy getting in the car, the black Lincoln that's gonna escort her away from Cape Side, and we see her and Pacey's heartfelt goodbye, and Pacey's a mess.
Is this the episode where the car drives off with Andy in it and she's looking out the back window at Pacey and Jack?
Yeah.
Both wearing like the baggiest carpenter jeans and khakis that you've ever seen, standing in the driveway.
And like polo shirts with like horizontal stripes, like big thick horizontal stripes. Yeah. Well, it was the 90s.
And she was looking out the back windshield and she was like, dodged a bullet.
She's like, I didn't know how I was going to get out of that one.
Bullet dodged.
Oh my gosh. All right, so then we move on to episode 22, Parental Discretion Advised. And this is kind of an intense episode. Jen is thinking about suicide. Like, she makes it sound like she's thinking about suicide in general, like as a as a whole, not necessarily that she wants to commit suicide, or at least that's what she tells Jack.
We missed some major plot points from episode 21. That being that Dawson sort of bonded with Joey's father because he ended up using him as the subject of his change into a hero video project or whatever he's trying to do, and interviews Joey's dad, and Joey's dad wants him to help him do some renovations on the ice house in return, so they're hanging out a lot. And Dawson is excited about something and shows up at the ice house after hours and catches Joey's father in the back and discovers that he's trafficking cocaine through the ice house.
He's in the middle of a drug deal. Catches him in the middle of a drug deal.
Yeah. And the other plot point being that that Dawson's mother is thinking about taking a job in Philly. And so that's on the table, and she's kind of still waiting for Dawson's father to give her a reason to stay.
Right.
Which she hasn't done.
That was brought up more in episode 20, right? Reunited, when they went to that fancy French restaurant and the teenagers tried to bring Gail and Mitch back together. So she wasn't really a part of episode 21, but that's still something hasn't been answered yet. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. And so things are kind of squaring up in episode 22 because this is the season finale for season 2. Right. So glad you reminded us of that. Good job, Victoria. So
I took notes.
I'm glad you did. I didn't.
It was the last thing. Dee catches Joey's dad trafficking coke.
Oh, was that the final scene?
That was the last scene, and he was like, "What do I do now?"
Oh, right.
And he's like, "I know what I do. I meddle in other people's business. I'm going to do that in the next episode. I'm going to get all up in everyone else's jam, even though it's not my place."
And that is obviously the wrong thing to do. What you do in that moment is you get a family discount from dad, and you ask if you can buy some of the coke that he's smuggling in.
Yeah, you get in on that side hustle.
I mean, for real. Seriously.
I mean, you'd be helping Joey's dad out, too, by buying from him.
Yeah, I mean, the man's trying to get back on his feet.
Yeah.
Granted, he's trying to zhuzh up the ice house and turn it into a better business because, Joey and her older sister have been, sort of struggling to keep that place alive. He just needs a little cash injection, and what better way to do that with a little illegal drug smuggling? And plus, it's just cocaine. Come on, guys.
Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? It's not, it's like crack or, heroin or, Molly, whatever the kids are doing these days.
Or meth.
Yeah, it's not meth. Okay.
Yeah, it's not meth.
It's not meth.
It's not.
That would really be, if I caught my friend's parents dealing meth, I'd be like, you should probably, nip that in the bud. But coke, weed.
If I caught my friend's parents selling coke, I absolutely would ask them what the rate is.
It's also, it's not an opioid, is it? I mean, shit, we just dealt with that whole serious shit not too long ago.
It's a party drug. Come on.
Yeah. Everyone just wants to have fun.
Pull the fuck out.
Yeah.
Well, I think the point in this show is that because prior to this, he was sent to prison for 7 years or something because he was trafficking marijuana, and now he's leveled up to coke.
Right.
The irony is that if fast forward 21 years to 2020, when we're all at home socializing over fucking Google Hangouts during the middle of a pandemic, that cocaine and marijuana are pretty low priority. I mean, even when we're not in a pandemic, they're pretty low priority, especially marijuana, which is practically legal now. Yeah. So his whole life was turned upside down by a thing that was eventually made legal. So, meanwhile, all the other highfalutin people in Cape Side who think that he's the devil because he's a drug dealer. Now, during this crisis, only essential businesses have remained open during the pandemic, including weed dispensaries. Essential, right up there with hospitals and grocery stores
and liquor stores.
And liquor stores. Let's not forget about liquor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, it was the 90s, so, I mean, I guess it was a big deal then.
They had one thing going for them in the 90s. They didn't have fucking Trump for their president, so, especially during a global crisis.
That is very true.
All
right. Season 2, episode 22.
Our whole earth is a dumpster fire right now. Let's go back to talking about Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. We're all losing our jobs and our homes. All right. What about Pacey?
What about the gang of Cape Side? All right. All right, well, episode 22, it's the season 2 finale. So it's called Parental Discretion Advised, and I forget how this episode opens up. I don't really know if it's important, but...
Well, I wrote for my first comment of this episode is, have they boned yet? And I think that meant Dawson and Joey.
No, definitely not.
They're never going to bone. I'm calling it now. I'm making a
What is even the point?
I'm making a bold prediction. They're never gonna bone. They're never gonna bone. It's just not gonna happen. I think I remember. It just came to me now. I think I remember how this show opens up. So it's like, so Jen is now living with Jack in his manse, and they are coming into school the next morning, right? And they've got their little cups of coffee, and Jen starts talking about teen suicide, and Jack is like, "Whoa, this took a really bad turn so early in the day." And then we see Graham show up at school kind of pleading with Jen to move back in, right? Does anyone remember that?
No.
Well, so I think Jen's like whole struggle throughout this episode is apparently teen suicide, and she kind of makes it sound like she's talking about it in general terms, not that she's the one who's actually thinking about killing herself, but just she's having some sort of existential crisis or something right now. The other note that I have in here is like this whole idea that Victoria and I have always been a little bit like pissed about, or like it upsets us how the teenagers in this show seem to like bring knowledge onto the adults in this show, because I have this thing here, this note that says Dawson is giving orders to Joey's dad to do the right thing, I think. Yeah.
Dawson has all the knowledge on the situation and what it's like to be an adult in the world.
Right.
And he's going to tell Joey's dad how to live right.
Right.
I mean, the irony is that Dawson is probably the most naive character of all of them. I think he's probably the most naive. And he's always the one whose morality the whole show is the yardstick by which the whole show is judged. And I'm like, why does Dawson get to be in charge? Because he doesn't know what the fuck's going on ever.
He has no idea. He thinks his films are good. He thinks, what's his stupid fucking movie called? Creek Days.
Creek Days.
Creek Days is a fucking masterpiece. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
It's Creek Days. It's Creek Days spelled D-A-Z-E.
Yeah.
Creek Days. Creek Days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's
so I mean, of course,
by love. I mean, he's such a drama queen.
Of course, he's the person that is, you know, the smart one, you know, the moral, like you said, moral compass of the show, and the one to be laying down the law with Joey's dad about smuggling cocaine is not good, Mr. What's their last name?
No idea.
Joey
Baker.
Rigatoni.
Is it Joey? Is it Josephine Baker? Am I making that up?
Josephine Baker.
I don't think I've ever known any of their last names. Do they have last names?
You know Dawson's last name, Dawson Leary.
Oh, Dawson Leary. Okay,
Pacey Witter.
Witter or Whitaker or something.
Yeah.
I mean, her family is like the outcast anyways, because...
Wait, did you guys say Joey Potter?
Joey Potter!
I googled it.
Yep.
Pacey Witter, Dawson Leary, Jen Lindley, Jack McPhee, Andy McPhee.
And Joey Potter.
Joey Potter. Okay. So the Potter family is like outcast anyways because the dad went to jail for drug dealing while the mom was dying of cancer.
They live on the wrong side of the creek.
What?
Mm-hmm.
They live on the wrong side of the creek. I mean,
yeah, and they've got some like little ramshackled house on the wrong side of the creek. And then Betsy, her
older sister.
Bessie, not Betsy. Bessie, which is a cow's name. Has a absentee black boyfriend for which she has a baby.
A black baby daddy.
Yeah.
We saw him once.
He was around once. He seemed like a good guy, and then we never see him again. So we're like, where the fuck is he?
Fucking stereotypical bullshit.
I mean, he better be in fucking Providence, earning some fucking cash and sending it home. That's all I gotta say.
Maybe he's working with Joey's dad in like a different part of town. He's like,
I think he's part of the drug ring.
I think so.
The really very serious drug ring that's happening in Cape Side.
The 3 bags of cocaine.
Yeah.
Maybe he has the other 3.
The whole drama is about enough cocaine to be flushed in the midst of a fire. So like I think his dad flushed cocaine in a fire. Have we gotten to the fire yet?
No, but he definitely could have just left through the front door.
We've gone on so many tangents.
All right, let's go back to the plot. That's why we're here.
Yeah, guys, let's get serious.
guys, we need to talk about the plot, okay? Stop talking about random things.
I mean, so I ended with Dawson giving orders to Joey's dad. I mean, Dawson does eventually get his parents involved and saying that they need to get the authorities involved as well because this is not something that a teenager nor civilians in general should be handling. I feel like Joey's dad tries to like ease the situation or smooth things out by like offering to use the ice house as a place where the kids can do their studying.
Guys, I'm being caressed by my boyfriend's very, very soft, supple lettuce hands. Okay. Sorry.
So while all the kids are at the ice house trying to do their studying, like Joey's dad is like in the back office or whatever, like checking out his cocaine to make sure it's all there, I guess. And then the next thing we see is some like Molotov cocktail being thrown through the window.
Yeah, he's got enemies already.
I know. When I initially saw it, I kind of thought it was him. Like I thought he was causing the fire himself in order to get rid of the cocaine and like.
Me too, because I thought he was found by Dawson and he had to but he could have just dumped it.
Well, he doesn't know that Dawson knows at this point. So the Molotov cocktail is like the Cape Side cartel.
Yeah. We know that institution exists as well. The underground drug ring.
Yeah. Cape Side. And Cape Side is just a shithole. It appears to be a quaint New England, creekside community, but it's really just a fucking drug den.
Oh yeah, and Pacey's dad keeps like popping up at the ice house because he's on to Joey's dad.
Oh yeah, that's also going back to the beginning of the show a little bit where Pacey's dad is dropping him off at school in the cop car, and so the radio comes on about blah 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 ice house or blah 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 Mr. Potter or something, and Pacey's like, "What's that about, Dad? Why are you like checking in on them?" And Pacey's dad's like, "Don't you worry about it. Like, it's none of your business, kid. You're just a kid. Get to school and don't fuck up.
Like you always do."
Like you always do. Exactly.
Sorry, boys. His girlfriend moves away and suddenly it's his time of the month. That's Pacey's dad.
No, that's not a joke. That's a quote from the show.
Yeah.
Well, it happens after that happens after. I mean, we haven't really gotten there yet. I mean, we can basically say it now. I mean, we've mentioned the Molotov cocktail coming flying through the window. The ice house.
And then Dawson saves Joey's dad. find to be really fucking insane, considering I don't know fires that well. I've never been in one. I don't know how to extinguish them. But from the looks of that scene, I'm fairly certain that Joey's dad could have just walked out the front door with his coke hidden in some pockets, and he would have been fine. Yeah, but Dawson comes in. Sorry, go ahead.
He just shoved his coke down his pants and walked out. But instead, there's some kind of window between the office and the back room of the ice house, and the kids are in the dining room of the ice house, studying, and the fire breaks out in the back room, which is between the dining room and the office. And then the dad just sees the fire, and his first instinct is to go flush all the coke down the toilet, which I think he manages to do in 30 seconds. So we're not even talking about a large amount of coke. He bursts open 5 bags of cokes, and it's just flush.
It's 3 Ziploc bags.
Yeah, and he's done. And then Dawson comes back, and he's oh my God, and all the kids are standing there, and Joey's dad is just standing at this window that's between the office and the back room with his face pressed against the window, being what do I do? What do I do? And there's a door right there, and the fire is isolated to some random boxes on either side of the room. You could still walk through the room, and he's just
well, I can't get out.
I'm trapped and I'm gonna die. Dawson's I'll save you, and he throws a chair through the window and pulls Mr. Potter out, and they run outside and saves the day.
Let's not forget that when the fire breaks out and they're all watching the fire happen, they're still inside in that little study in the main or the dining room area while they were studying or whatever, and Jen just stares at it wide-eyed.
Yeah, she's ooh, fire.
She's now become a pyromaniac or something.
Exactly. No, the takeaway later is that she was contemplating her own death.
I wrote it down.
I got to run into that fire and die. But the takeaway that I got was that she was completely mesmerized by the fire.
Yeah.
And is a total pyro.
Yeah.
She was just I've never seen anything more beautiful in my life. My life now has meaning. Fire.
I wrote it down because Jack approaches her about it and was yo, you didn't even want to run. I had to drag you out of there. And because she was talking about suicide earlier in the episode, and so Jack is overly worried, because now she's fascinated by fire, and so Jen was. But I wrote it down here that Jen was I didn't want to die, but I just didn't care enough to run. and then Jack embraces her, and they have this crying hug together. Meanwhile, so Dawson, all on his own, I guess with a little help of Pacey's dad, is able to save Joey's dad. And then is it the next day or the same day, hours later, when the fire's been extinguished and firefighters are there just serving the ice house or whatever, and that's when Joey and his dad get into it, and that's when he drops that line that you were just saying, oh, it's the time of the month. You say because you do it better than me.
Sorry, boys, his girlfriend moves away and suddenly it's his time of the month.
So Pacey's dad, we all know, we haven't actually really seen it. Well, we always known he's a dick, but I think this is the first episode where we actually see that he's actually abusive. He's not just being a dick or a tough bullheaded father. I mean, he's actually abusive to Pacey. And Pacey actually punches him, right? He says,
because after he insults Pacey for being too emotional about his girlfriend moving away in front of the other firefighters or whatever, the other emergency responders, then he makes some comment. I can't remember what it was, but he makes some comment about Andy, some derogatory comment about Andy, and that sets Pacey over at the end. And he's you can say anything you want about me, but don't talk shit about my girlfriend, and punches his dad right in the kisser. And the other emergency workers do nothing. They're yeah, that fucking asshole.
Yeah, they're fucking finally.
Well, also because isn't Pacey's dad chief of police or whatever. They're
Yeah,
probably,
but
they're probably
he's
just
a
like, we
dick
can't
to his
really do
kid.
anything if we wanted to.
Well, I know, but if he's a dick to his kid, he's probably like a dick to them too. So like they didn't come to like the chief of police rescue. They weren't
They definitely did not give a shit.
Yeah.
No, they were just like, oh, the chief of police son just fucking punched him in the face. We're gonna pretend like we didn't see that. We're gonna mind our own business, and he deserved it because he's probably a dick to everybody. And they were like, yeah, he deserved that.
Yeah. So.
And then also Dawson, it's the next day, and everyone else has changed from the fire incident. They've washed.
We also
they've
would have
changed
assumed
clothes.
Showered, right?
Dawson's still running around Cape Side in his khakis that have soot all over them. He's got soot all over his face from the rescue mission. Why hasn't he showered?
Because he wants people to know that he was like.
Is it the next day?
I thought it was like morning then. It was like light outside, and he confronts Joey, and he was
it was nighttime.
I know what your dad's doing, and she doesn't believe him. She's like, shut the fuck up. Like, my dad's not doing drugs again. He's out, and he's like doing the right thing. And he's like, no, he's dealing coke. It's worse than before, and you have to fucking turn your dad in. And she's like, I don't want to because things are like pretty good right now, and I don't want to mess it up. And he's like, too bad.
And this is in front of, or not in front of, but this is at the police station that they have this conversation.
Because I think they have it before that, and then she's like, I don't want to. And then the next scene, they're like at the police station, and she's like telling the police like what she knows or what Dawson knows.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's there. Mitch and Gail are there because Dawson has told
them. The whole crew.
Yeah, the whole crew is there. And so we're actually not really quite sure like what's going to happen with that or whatever. Well, so I guess it is. Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, I just kind of like thought because the fire happened at night, and I'm sure it took a few hours. They kind of made the assumption that Dawson had to get medically cleared or medically checked out or whatever. Because I remember Joey saying something like, "Ooh, they want to make sure the hero's okay." So Dawson had to go like make sure that he was medically okay, I guess. Yeah, all right. So I mean, it might have been light outside, and while everyone else was had time to shower and get cleaned up, Dawson like came straight from the hospital after being checked out. That he was okay, I guess.
We guess.
Well, so then, so what we find out is that Joey does help the police, right? She wires up.
She strapped a wiretap around her waist with duct tape, like an explosive. I thought she was going to blow up the house. Do you need that much duct tape for a wire?
I mean, in 1999 you did, yeah. Now they have all these like spy cams. Back in the day, you had to fucking strap a whole thing to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was
she wears a wire,
and she
approaches her dad. It was a cassette player too.
She had like a cassette player taped to her thing.
She's like an answering machine taped to her back.
Yeah. So she's like gets her dad to admit that he was smuggling drugs, or I guess was a middleman again, like he was before. And dad gets taken off by the policía. And then the other thing, I mean, is there anything else? Oh, well, and so then like after that whole incident goes down, Dawson is like, I'm really proud of you. Or does he say something to that effect? Like, I'm really glad that you did the right thing. And Joey's like, it didn't feel right. I don't feel like I did the right thing. My life was going good.
And then Joey's like, you know what? I'll forgive my dad, and I'll forgive my, the police and the prison system and fucking the president. But I won't fucking forgive you, Dawson, you piece of shit, meddler, nosy son of a bitch.
Whoa. Whoa.
I mean, that's pretty much how she feels. Like, yeah, she did the right thing, and Dawson like fucking emotionally blackmailed her into doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But she had to fucking take down her happy home.
Father, yes, her happy home. Like, she felt that they were like all of them, the Potters, her dad, her older sister, and her were all getting their shit together, and then Dawson had to just like ruin it. She's like, but I will never forgive you. And from now on, I don't want to know you. Which is like way harsh because they just got back together.
Yeah, but she blames him for.
Well, yeah.
For this. I'm sure in the next season she'll like realize that it's like her father's fault and not Dawson and forgive him. But there is a morality line that's crossed here, I think, because Dawson interfered with stuff that's just none of his business.
None of his business, exactly.
It's none of his business. So yeah, he brought something to the table that she had to deal with. But if he hadn't brought it to the table, she wouldn't have had to deal with it, and she may have never had to deal with it. She may have never known, and she may have just lived out the rest of her lives being happier for it.
Yeah.
Dawson's...
So agreed.
Yeah.
I just got back from peeing, y'all.
Good job.
But I agree. I heard you guys the whole time.
Yeah, so the status of their relationship looks like not good. I'll be interested to see how season 3 opens up. I mean, it sounds like Joey's just like, I want to pretend like I never met you. I just want to pretend like I don't even know you exist in this world, Dawson.
I mean, that's a good move for Joey, and I think that she should carry that out. I know it won't happen because the show is like 20 seasons long, and that they maintain some kind of friendship. But she should.
He'd be dead to me.
Yeah, she should really cut him loose at this point because he's kind of poison. I mean, maybe in a few years he'll like grow up here and like grow up a little bit and get a little more streetwise. But at the moment, he's like a naive piece of shit who thinks with an ego problem.
I don't think Dawson's ever gonna become streetwise. I mean, they're in fucking Cape Side. He's a white privileged kid. Like, no, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He's white, privileged young person with an ego
and male.
Constantly convinced that he's always right about everything and that he's the moral compass of everything. Yeah. And he's the least sophisticated character of all of them. And so I don't even know why the show is named after him, honestly. But
what other character
should this whole podcast? You know how I feel about Dawson.
What should the show have been called? Cape Side?
What other character would it be?
Pacey's Creek.
Cape Side Creek? Cape Side Creek? Should it have been called Cape Side Kids? The Cape Side Gang?
The Cape Side Kids. It just makes it sound like Saved by the Bell. Just more of a comedy and less of a drama.
Yeah.
But I think this is definitely a comedy. As is.
It's meant to be a drama.
It's meant to be a drama.
It's meant to be a drama. It's not a sitcom like Saved by the Bell.
All right, I can't guarantee that I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try and maybe figure out why it's called Dawson's Creek. I mean, I think this has something to do with the writer-creator. Because, I mean, I remember reading one article. It might have been that main Entertainment Weekly 20th anniversary article that ran on the show where he said, like, that the main character, Dawson, was like loosely based on him, maybe. But
so that's why it's called Dawson's Creek. But really, Dawson is not the main focus. He's not any more important than the other core teenagers in the show.
That's true.
And his storyline is the least
interesting.
Compelling.
Yeah.
So, like, why is the show centered around the kid who has the least issues?
I'm on Wikipedia, and under production or under conception, it says, following the selling of his spec script for Wes Craven-directed Scream, film assistant Kevin Williamson was taking several meetings with film and television producers before the slasher film began production. In what would be his first television meeting, Williamson met executive Paul Stupin, and when asked if he had ideas for a television production, Williamson came up with the idea of a teen series based on his youth growing up near a North Carolina creek as an aspiring filmmaker who worshipped director Steven Spielberg.
Wait a minute. So that's so weird that they film it in North Carolina, actually, and yet they didn't want to base it in North Carolina?
Well, when Columbia requested him to relocate the show to Boston, Massachusetts, he settled with the fictional Cape Side and pitched it to Fox.
Okay,
so he did want to have it in his North Carolina town.
I think
it was filmed
so.
Somewhere on the coast of North Carolina.
And if it was a fictional town, who gives a shit? Like if it was North Carolina or Massachusetts.
Actually, I don't think the show was ever supposed to be fucking made. Wikipedia says it sounded like Williamson hit a lot of walls here. However, commissioned amid the struggling Party of Five, Fox wondered if they needed another teen drama.
Was Party of Five was on Fox? Is that what you just said?
It just says, yeah. However, commissioned amid the struggling Party of Five, Fox wondered if they needed another teen drama.
Oh, okay. Well, so what that sounds like is that Fox probably passed on it because Dawson's Creek premiered on the WB. It was always a WB show. It was never a Fox show.
So Fox passed on it and WB picked it up.
Right.
Yeah, they were like, fine.
Sure. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what the WB does. And then they have like stellar hits like Buffy.
Well, because then also, I mean, at that time, WB was still a new network. And so I'm sure they were trying to like just swoop up any new shows that any other studios were passing up. They're like, we'll take it. we need content. We need shows.
Whoa, guys, you got to check out the Wikipedia page. Dawson's Creek would become responsible for launching the acting careers of its young lead stars, blah, 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 we know all of them, who had varying acting experience prior to being cast in the show. Known for his appearance in the Mighty Ducks series, playing a young and aspiring hockey player, Joshua Jackson was initially considered for the main role of Dawson Leary. However, while Williamson fell in love with Jackson, citing his ability to I read it too fast. I thought there was really like a love triangle between Joshua Jackson and the creator of the show.
No, Joshua Jackson was a fucking kid.
And straight.
About Pacey.
People fall in love with children all the time.
I know, but it's not all right.
Michael Jackson fell in love with a lot of children.
Okay, let's stop that one right there.
That's what the show is about. Yeah. Let's not say that there.
Read the Wikipedia.
So Joshua Jackson is Pacey.
He was originally considered for Dawson's character.
Yeah.
So then how did James Vanderbeek end up there? I mean, this show did launch the careers for all of these kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them.
I would say so, yeah, for sure. Going back to the episode, I just want to bring up maybe we're final thoughts here, but because I feel like we've hit on the main points of what happened in the show. But so there's a lot of people that are reconciling in this episode. Mitch and Gail. Mitch tries to convince Gail to stick around, that he's ready to give their marriage another try, and Gail's like, no, sorry, fuck you. Like, I thought I gave you plenty of chances. And she's also, I think she says also something to the effect of like, I felt like I put myself out there enough times to tell you that I wanted to give our marriage another try, and you did jack shit. So I'm going to Philly. Bye.
Yeah. No, he totally waits till the last fucking minute.
He waits till the last fucking minute.
He was like, oh, you're serious. You're really serious. Oh, you're really, 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 really fucking serious. Okay. Now don't leave. And she's like, no, asshole.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. Yeah, that would offend me too. Like, oh, now that you know that I'm about to leave, you're going to try and tell me that I should stay and we should give our marriage another try. Like, no, fuck you. That's totally unfair.
Yeah, I know. She did the right thing.
Yeah.
Fuck Mitch. And fuck Dawson.
Yeah, Yeah, what's gonna happen with Dawson? I guess he's gonna go live with Mitch now.
He's gonna be a latchkey kid.
Yeah, he's gonna move in with Jack and and Jen in the big mansion.
Orphanage for 18-year-olds that's starting up in their manse.
Well, so that's the other reconciliation that happens is that I don't know if Jack's dad finally sells the house or whatever, but basically Jen and Grams reconcile. Like Jen comes back to Grams' house and was like, hey, I want to give this another try. Like we need to have some ground rules though. So here's how it's gonna go or whatever. And Jen's like, I'll move back in, but you have to let this other person come in. And then the camera pans over and it's Jack. So now what we can kind of guess is that Jack and Jen are going to live in Grams' house. Grams is going to get rid of Gramps' stuff. I guess whatever stuff he had in his bedroom or office or whatever. And Jack will be there. And then the other reconciliation that kind of happens is Pacey and his dad. So Pacey's dad, or I guess it's more like Andy calls Pacey's house and Pacey's dad picks up the phone and Andy and Pacey's dad have some sort of heart-to-heart conversation about how wonderful Pacey is and how Pacey was so comforting and just reliable and just the best boyfriend ever. And then he goes to Pacey and he was like, I didn't really know the extent of your relationship. I didn't really know what kind of man you were becoming or something like that. I don't remember. They basically have a tearful hug also on one of the piers and one of the docks.
Yeah, he did a complete 180.
He did a complete 180 in the span of a 45-minute episode.
Yeah.
So now his dad, now Pacey is not such a loser or such a black sheep. He's not the black sheep of the family anymore, I guess.
Yeah, suddenly,
yeah.
And it's not his time of the month anymore, neither.
It's not his time of the month anymore.
No more, neither.
My boy is turned into a man.
Oh, man. It is dinner time. It is taco time. Plates are being served, and I smell it, and it's making me crazy.
Oh, I think we might almost be done. Does Ben want to come back on just for a little bit? He can just make a brief appearance before y'all have dinner.
Do you want to make a brief appearance before we have dinner?
Tell him it's good
He
timing.
has his dinner and he said no.
Aww.
The plate's in front of him.
All right.
I'm fucking starving over here. It's almost my time of the month.
No special guest, I guess.
Maybe the next episode.
Well, I mean, if you're there watching it with him, if you're going to force him to watch it again.
Well, who knows how long this quarantine's going to go on.
I know.
Shit, we might be doing the next 5 seasons of Dawson's Creek this way. Sadly.
Well, it looks like
Where'd Victoria go?
I know. It looks like Victoria stepped away for a second. So, I mean, I feel like we're done, right?
Yeah, I think we covered all the main topics and threw a little extra in there.
I mean, I guess the cliffhangers that they sort of left everyone with from season 2 is that we don't know what's going to happen with Joey because her dad's now gone off back to prison. I mean, I don't know. I mean, up until this season, she's been living without any parents, so I'm sure she'll be fine. But I guess question is what are her and Dawson gonna do? What is their relationship gonna be when season 3 comes around? I feel like there weren't any major cliffhangers, really.
No, they pretty much.
It's kind of almost like they tied everything up in a pretty little bow.
I mean, I think the cliffhanger is that Joey told Dawson off. She called him out for his bullshit. Now we'll see what their relationship looks like.
I mean, I guess that is supposed to be the cliffhanger because Dawson is supposed to be the main character, And I guess by proxy, Joey is the next most important character to Dawson. They're the whole crux of this show, I guess. Yeah, to me, like, I obviously can't remember what it was like when I watched this in high school. I'm sure I was, like, on the edge of my seat, like, wondering what was going to happen with Dawson and Joey, and I'm sure I was really upset about it. But watching it now, I'm like, that's very anticlimactic. Like, it wasn't a good ending to the season, I don't think.
Well, it ended on a down note.
Yeah, it ended on a down note for a lot of people. And I guess we're gonna like figure out like what's gonna happen with Dawson now that his mom is moving to Philly. Like, is he gonna live with his dad? Is his dad gonna move back into the house? Like, what's gonna happen there? And then,
like all of our characters are like parentless now, except for Pacey, who wishes he was parentless.
Yeah, but him and his dad had a little heartfelt hug at the end. Maybe their relationship is on the mend or something. And like, what's gonna happen to the ice house? Is the ice house coming back? All right, both of y'all are on mute. I can't have a conversation with myself.
Oops, sorry. I don't know how that happened.
Sorry, I was getting dinner ready. I'm so fucking hungry. Okay, I'm gonna go dinner. If you guys are still doing this when I get done, I'll text you and see if you're still doing this.
Wait, can we just wrap this episode up?
Yeah, we'll probably just wrap this up as Victoria pours from her big bottle of vodka.
This is it for me.
It's not your Tito's. Where's your Tito's?
Oh, I don't know. This is cheaper.
I am getting hungry too. I have like some leftover chicken tortilla soup. Ooh, girl. Ooh, she pouring all of it. Ooh, she
thirsty.
Ooh, that was a lot of vodka too.
Is that just vodka you're pouring in there in your water bottle?
Yeah, but this is just like, this is going out to the bin and this is going in the cabinet.
That's going in your stomach.
Yeah.
This one's going out the recycling. This one's going down my throat.
All right, guys. Oh, well, wait. So we have to do like an official ending because this is the end of season 2. So, guys, we made it through season 2. I know you guys thought it was going to be like a major hurdle. Hopefully, it wasn't too much for you guys. So let's give everybody snaps for finishing season 2. Good job, you guys. So we've got season 3 coming up. I know you guys are raring to go for season 3. I know y'all are all so excited for it.
I'm really excited.
I know. Victoria's so excited she can't even speak.
So I'm so
She's
excited.
still not excited. All right, guys, this is our official goodbye for season 2 of Basic Teen TV. Cindy.
All right.
Cindy, yeah. I'm glad you joined the team this season. I hope you come back for season 3.
I'll be here.
You've been a welcome addition to the team.
I'll be here with my axe, darling.
Oh, God. I knew she'd have to, like, sneak that in somehow. Victoria, the one who's been with me since day 1. Can you say goodbye, please?
I'm forcing him to say hi. I'm sorry. Bye.
That's all she says. All right, guys. Thanks again. Season 2's a wrap. We'll be
Cindy's
back.
gone already.
I'm making tacos, goddammit. I'm trying to make fucking tacos.
We'll be back at some point for season 3. All right, on the count of 3, say goodbye. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye. Okay, for real. I'm going to go make tacos. If you guys are still doing this when I I'll text you and see if you're still doing this. And then I'll be back.
Okay, bye.